All right, everybody, welcome back to the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. I'm Dr. Stephen Cabral, board-certified doctor of naturopathy and founder of the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. Excited to be talking about this topic. Many of our IHPs have written in asking, what is the future going to be like of health coaching, and will AI replace health coaches? So it's one of the biggest topics right now because we see companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and even a few others start to become some of the preeminent, I would say, search engines now looking for information. So yes, they can build plans and they can maybe even think about protocols and they can look at labs. But what I want to share with you is that this is not a downside, and it will actually be of the benefit to some of the best coaches out there. So AI won't replace health coaches, but I want to share with you the very specific reasons why. Because some coaches will be replaced. There's no doubt about that. But just like personal trainers didn't get replaced because of YouTube workout videos, I'm going to share with you what health coaches will not be replaced if they do these very specific things. So let's dive right in. There's no doubt about it, AI is changing every industry, whether it's lawyers or it is accounting, even real estate. All of these things are being turned a little bit upside down. That's going to happen to everybody. Our industry is no different, and it's okay. Because if we are able to harness the technology, use it to our advantage, and have it be a greater benefit to the client, well, then everybody wins. But I'll tell you this, there is no way that AI and even a robot is going to be able to replace the three main things that I wanted to talk about right now, with the first one being human-based connection. And here's why. People, honestly, especially when they're not feeling well, it's a little bit different maybe if you're exercising, but I want to talk about that as well, because I definitely don't think personal trainers are being replaced. I know that they're not being replaced because I've been in the industry since 1996. So here's the thing. People, especially when they're looking for physical or mental health-based results, they want to be seen. They want to feel heard, and they need to be understood. So while you can put in a lot of data, ones and zeros, into a LLM, what you're not going to get, even with the best voice-operated ones, things like that in the future, is human connection. We as humans know that we are speaking to an inanimate software. I mean, that's the thing. Don't get me wrong. If you type in ChatGPT, it's very smart, right? It knows a lot, but you know that it's not human. And it is not the same type of conversation or the same need to connect as you would with your personal trainer, massage therapist, esthetician, health coach, all service-based industries. At the end of the day, we feel more comfortable and connected listening to and sharing with other humans. That can never be replaced. All right. So you can try to get simulations of this, but at the end of the day, those individuals who try to use AI, I mean, trust me, I'm part of different business groups and organizations and everybody. I mean, I'm the only doctor in the group, and they all think that for now, that ChatGPT or Claude are giving them the absolute best advice on how to take their nutritional supplements, whatever. But they're going to realize eventually, oh, I'm not getting the results I was looking for. Why is that? Right? And so because there's nuances that are being missed, and a good coach is going to bring out the right answers from the client by asking the proper questions. And of course, that's what we teach inside of IHP, right? And especially inside of Mastery, it's called motivational questioning and client interviewing, right? It's bringing out the best in them because you want them to futurecast, see where they're going to be, and then what they need to do in order to get there. All right, but we'll talk about that another time. The second one is this. This is something, again, even a robot with programmed AI, because that's what's going to happen, right? So we'll have robots in the next 2 to 3 years, and they'll have the AI inside of them, right? So very smart, well-trained, but what they're not going to be able to do is keep you accountable. They're really not. You know why? Because it's not another human. We're just not accountable to software, even our calendars. I'll be honest, my calendar is scheduled for every 15 minutes of the day. Now, usually they're in half-hour blocks, but some meetings are only 15 minutes, right? And so Although I follow that calendar as closely as possible. And the reason is if I don't, then it's going to make me have to work later. And I don't want to work later because that's my daughter's and my wife's time, right? And I don't want to work on the weekends because that's my family time. But if I don't do what I need to do, here's what happens. I have to do that work at some point. It has to get done. I can't let other people down. But that calendar only does so much. I'm really keeping myself accountable. But here's the thing. My family comes first, then my work. So my exercise and other things are going to come after that. I know that's not the way that it should be, but that's the season of life that I'm in. So here's what's going to happen. As no robot or AI is going to say, hey, it's time to get to the gym. It's 4:30, 4:45. This is when you're going to work out. Like, sure, I can get reminders, but it's not like there's a personal trainer there meeting me. It's not like I have a virtual meeting scheduled that I paid for that I'm not going to miss out on. So the accountability factor is one of the biggest things that health coaches overlook. And I know this to be true, that this is one of the reasons why clients keep coming back over and over, month after month. When I was in personal training and nutrition, my clients met with me, especially for personal training, 2 to 3 times a week on average. That's when my clients met with me. Here's the thing. They stayed with me for years, some well over 10 years. Don't you think after a year or certainly 5 years, they knew how to work out on their own? Of course they did. But they had an appointment with me that they were paying for, and hopefully they enjoyed working out, with me as their personal trainer, and they kept coming back because it's accountability. When you pay for something and there's another human, you don't want to let them down and you don't want to waste your money. There will always be a need for the human connection and the accountability. No doubt about it. AI will never replace that. Again, I can already share with you why is because I lived through the YouTube and internet, and I was a part of that back in like 2007, 2008. And I was a expert for diet.com, whatever you want to call it. They literally came to my studio and we filmed every couple of weeks. And those videos used to get millions of views. And I gave people workouts to do. And we didn't get less busy, we got busier, right? Because people start to see you. So here's the thing. You will never be replaced just because there's a workout or there's a health coaching program out there. There's no shortage of full workout routines and videos on YouTube for free right now. Personal training and one-on-one training and group classes and everything is busier than ever, without a doubt. Okay. All right, the next one is this. Emotional intelligence. I think that in the future, AI will be able to simulate emotion, but I don't know that it's going to fully, at least not for a while, maybe in 5 to 10 years, it's going to fully be able to pick up on your stress, your apprehension, your fear, your resistance, the nuances that come with being able to see your reactions, hear it in your voice, and also gather that information from when you work with clients in the past. And a lot of that is where the real coaching happens. I know that as I'm starting to go through a client's program in the last 30 minutes of my deep dive consultations, I can see it in them being very quiet or looking more tense or whatever it is, that this feels overwhelming. And when I see that, I say, this is the all-in of what we're looking at. However, we can start at a much lower level. And then I start to go what that first level is, and then I see their body de-stress and relax. And I realize now we're in the right spot. Then I leave it open to them saying, how does this look? I want your honest opinion because I want to make sure that we're following up with each other each week and that this is doable. Do you feel that this is doable? If not, that's not a problem. We can start slower and eventually get to where we need to be. And you leave that open. That's where a great coach comes in. Just like all of our integrative health practitioners, you're trained to do that. You can do that. The last one I wanted to share with you is this before we kind of get into the future, the hybrid of coaching. So live events, like live in person. If you're able to ever meet with clients in person, it's fantastic. I mean, it really is. You build such deep connection when there is human to human. I know that's one of the reasons I was able to build up my original personal training, nutrition, strength and conditioning based practice business. And that's because I got to see people in person. I got to, have that human experience with them and start to build the community. And so even if you're not able to do it in person, what you could do is invite them into a Facebook group or a private community inside of your website, whatever it might look like. If you can bring people together, totally different than even just them asking questions to Gemini or Claude or OpenAI, whatever it might be, right? So when you bring people together, you have community. And people also want to stay because they're part of a community. Colleague of mine, good friend of mine, they have over 50,000 members in their online community, paying $79, $100 or so per month. And those individuals oftentimes stay for years because they're part of a greater community. It's pretty cool. All right. Now here's what I want to share with you. It's not that we as integrative health practitioners won't use AI in the future. For our IHPs and for our greater community, and certainly for Practice Built, we are building our own AI distillation. What that means is that instead of it having all sorts of wild answers out there, we are loading in 3,700, which is over 60,000 hours of the Cabral concept. We are loading in over 500 hours of the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute curriculum. And you're going to be able to ask questions for yourself, family, and clients and get distilled, meaning what we know to be true answers as to the proper protocols that have been proven, not just theorized, in order to be best for your clients. So AI is going to be your co-pilot. I don't know a better way to really say that, but it's basically your lab partner, right? So if you remember like biology or chemistry class, typically you always had a lab partner. The lab partners are there to check each other. They really are, to make sure that it's a safe environment and to bounce ideas off of each other. That's exactly what AI is going to be in the future. That's exactly what we're building right now. And so not only is the future of health being able to have all this information at your fingertips, but you as the practitioner get to view it through your client's lens. You'll add things, you'll take things out. You know what's right for your client, and it allows you to do your work and your summaries that much faster. So again, you still have to know the material. That's the truth. Like I'll ask LLMs questions all the time, and I'm like, that's actually not only is it not true, this is harmful in this circumstance. And then I say, but what about this? And they'll say, oh, yes. Well, if that is true, then you won't want to do this, right? And unless you are a practitioner, you're going to miss those specific things. That is why a lot of people are getting themselves in trouble right now, trying to build their own protocols just through an AI. So those are my reasons, my knowing. I really believe this in my core. I would share with you if it wasn't the truth. First, you want to become a great health coach. That is what you need to know, or whatever it is in your field. Then you have the knowledge. You're going to be able to use an AI model to better build and help your practice and your clients. But then your clients are going to continue to meet with you week after week or month after month because of the major connection points: human connection, the accountability, the EQ, right? The emotional based intelligence, and also if there's a community based aspect. If you don't have those things right now, start to build them into your business, your practice, and it's going to allow you to always have a thriving business no matter what AI goes to in the future. Hopefully this was helpful. All the big takeaways will be at ihp.coach/434. Take care, everybody.